Time Management from Psychology to Success. Mary Law, Rogers State University. Foundations of Organizational Management and Personal Development with Dr. Jane Brick on September 25th, 2025. The phrase, time is money, has traditionally been used when presenting time management techniques, emphasizing productivity. However, studies on the long-term benefits of time management show primarily positive psychological effects. From this understanding, we will look at the implementation of effective time management. The first step in using time management for better psychological health is to develop a life plan highlighting desired goals and outcomes. Then use established time management techniques to plan and prioritize a daily schedule. Once the life plan is established with those techniques, you must then establish healthy boundaries to protect that plan. What are your goals? What steps will you need to achieve them? Establishing goals in a life plan allows you to live with a greater sense of purpose and direction. As you can see in this 2021 meta-analysis, the effects of time management on life satisfaction is 72% stronger than on job satisfaction. They also found that it had a profound effect on psychological distress. In a similar study, they found that structured routines, a sense of purpose, being present, having effective organization, and persistence increased psychological well-being. How then do we begin to organize our time? Step 1 is write down all of the things that you need to accomplish regularly in your life. Step 2 is get an accurate idea of how long these things take you by timing yourself doing them. And then I always allow a little bit of extra time because unexpected things come up. There's a time management technique called the pickle jar theory. It prioritizes duties and responsibilities in a particular order. The theory is based on the understanding that time is limited, which they illustrate with a jar. You only have a certain amount of space in the jar and time. The duty that must be completed is a stone, a duty that could be delegated is a pebble, and a duty that could be postponed if necessary is sand. The emphasis on this theory is prioritization. The key is to complete those crucial stone activities first because they are the most important and take up the most space. Then fill in with the other activities as you have time. If you allow your jar to be filled with pebbles and sand, you will not have room for the stones. Assign a color to each category on your list, such as blue for home, red for work, green for bills, and purple for schoolwork. You can, of course, just pick colors that you like, but you will notice from the screen that certain colors stand out more than others. So the most important things, I tend to make brighter colors. Then you place your circled items on your calendar with a corresponding color first. Remember, those are your crucial activities. Then you examine the underlying list and determine a plan for delegating as many of those as you can. Place the remaining items on your underlying list on your calendar with the corresponding colors after you've removed those that you feel like you might be able to delegate to somebody else. And lastly, determine where you can fit in sand items and add them. After this initial process, inputting the data into an online calendar can be very helpful. Various options are available to connect one cohesive calendar from your cell phone to multiple computers. For example, Google and Yahoo both offer this type of calendar. They also have features such as reminders for time-sensitive items and appointments to help you remember. The final step in this planning process is to revisit your delegate plan. Identify who these tasks will be delegated to and what the process might involve. This often means a family meeting discussing what needs to be done, what it involves, how often you would like them to do it. Remember that family life should be a team effort. These responsibilities are good for them and help them fully develop. You are working on a life together. With your spouse and coworkers, this process should be easier. As adults, we all understand the workload and the necessity of helping each other to foster success. Do be sure and take the time to write down the details of what you're asking of them. Now, of course, if this is a task you've taken on for them, then they already know this, but you will want to update them on any changes that you've made and why. That way, if you found a better way to do it, it will help them. The next step in implementing this time management successfully into your life is learning to protect your plan by setting and maintaining boundaries. No is not a bad word. Your time is valuable and limited. With your children, consider what will benefit them rather than seeing this as a negative. They can be overwhelmed by too many commitments and expectations, and reducing their activities can result in them focusing more fully on the things that they value the most, important things like schoolwork, having more time to play outside, and getting more rest. What is good for your future is good for their future. You're working on a life together, so if you have a more stable future, they have a more stable future. Socrates famously said that the unconsidered life is not worth living. British philosopher A.C. Grayling clarifies, he meant that a life lived without forethought or principle is a life so vulnerable to chance and so dependent on the choices and the actions of others that it is of little real value to the person living it. He further meant that a life well lived is one that has goals and integrity, which is chosen and directed by the one that lives it. Now that does feel heavy, doesn't it? However, it's precisely right. That does not mean that any of this is going to be perfect. You have to be kind to yourself and allow for the unexpected. But you have to keep the big picture in mind. Even if the pieces of the plans change over time, that's fine. That's how life goes. I think we all know that. Because maybe in some sense, time is money. However, it's also true that we only have this one life to live, and it goes fast. So we have to choose the life that we want to live daily.